Hey you guys, this is Crystal from the Abundantly Blessed Homestead, where we use the wisdom of our ancestors to make amazing, nourishing, delicious meals for our family and grow some of our own food. Today is going to be a tour of my garden and my greenhouse to see what's growing, what might be growing, and what's definitely growing, which are weeds. So let's go take a look. This garden tour comes with a weed warning. If you are offended by weeds, this is probably not the video to watch. All right, so as soon as we come in through the gate, there is a motherwort. This is a medicinal herb. It grows wild here. It takes over everything. I try to keep it out of the garden as much as possible, but it grows pretty much everywhere. But I love that it flowers because it brings in the beneficial bees to pollinate my plants. This was supposed to be a row of carrots. The chickens kept getting in and scratching, and so there's a few like seedlings here or there, but yeah, pretty much a fail there. This is potatoes, which I didn't plant. They are here from last year. And the pink flags we put in the ground to indicate where our plant was so we can make sure we dig them out this year. This is my, I don't know what type of squash this is, but I planted it anyway, cluster. I did see that there's like a little zucchini on one of these plants, so this portion must be zucchini here. And this is starting to vine, so it's anyone's guess what that is right there. And just in case you haven't noticed yet, my garden's a little bit different this year, just because I have a baby. She's just a little 6-month-old baby, and it's harder to stay on top of everything. Okay, and then this whole row is slicing cucumbers right along the fence. We were out here weeding today because we haven't weeded yet, so needed it. This is also somewhat of a row of cucumbers. A lot of the weeds shaded some of them out, so we're going to have to replant this row. Another row of volunteer potatoes. My basil plant, which is actually going to flower, which means I should be harvesting all those leaves, but who has the time right now for that? This row is kind of a hodgepodge. We have some cilantro that already went to seed for some freaky reason, lettuce, and a couple of celery plants. This usually holds my cabbage. I didn't do any cabbage this year. I didn't feel like going to war with the demon moths, so I just passed. Over here we have another little bunch of lettuce. It's kind of planted rather wild. Usually all of my rows are just one thing. Anyway, but then we have our tomato row. And this is like a lot of weeds, so you're just going to have to forgive the weeds. We're getting to them. It's just a slow, tedious process. I think we spent about 3 hours weeding today. All right, another lettuce row here. And then the start of another tomato, double-sided tomato row to go up on these vines there. Not vines, cattle panels. So I've started pruning some of them up so they can be tied up hopefully this week sometime. We'll have to see. Another 2 rows of volunteer potatoes. I just can't believe it. The one year I said I'm not planting them, they all came back. So it's just nuts. Same thing on this side of the garden. 2 more rows of potatoes. And then this row here is a row of spicy peppers. Saw a couple of plants. And then a whole row of cherry tomatoes. And another hot pepper plant. And a third one, and then it kind of goes into weeds. So we got to unbury the rest there. But then, like I said, this is a whole row of cherry tomatoes. Gonna have lots of those this year. This row I'm so proud of. It is my homemade celery. I say homemade because I grew it from seed for the first time in my life. And the plants look so happy. Some of them didn't make it, but there's enough to provide for our family, so I'm happy about that. This row, the entire row is peppers. These are all bell peppers. The whole way down. And a volunteer tomato plant. We have some more lettuce. And more peppers mixed in with lettuce. This is the portion of the garden we actually got weeded, so you can actually see on camera what we're looking at. More lettuce. Volunteer tomato plant. More lettuce. And then another accomplishment this year are my onions. I am so very happy with my onions this year. For the first time in my life. I'm not really sure these are going to get big enough to harvest because I planted them kind of late. But I grew all these from seed. So I am so happy with them so far. So we'll just have to see what they do, even though it took me a while to get them in the ground. This row is supposed to be a row of pole beans. Needs to be replanted, it looks like. Some more awesome looking onions. So happy about that. And then we didn't actually plant anything here. This is an area where our potatoes would normally be. But instead we're going to give our viney plants some more room this year. I'm not really even sure what these are. It could be a pumpkin, could be a watermelon, could be spaghetti squash or acorn squash. I don't know. But all I know is they're growing. Got some more weeds there, but yeah, they're doing well. Same thing here. This area right here would have been for potatoes, but we're not growing any this year of our own choosing. All right, and then here we have, I think, 5 or 6 rows of green bean plants. So they're coming up nice, which is great. And then we have more volunteer potatoes, which is crazy, but that's okay. We will put them up anyway. So anyway, this is an example of how a garden can still flourish even if you're having a hard year, a tougher year, a more busy year because of a baby or because of whatever is busying your life. There's some more of those pink flags. So I'm very, very happy to have grown homemade lettuce successfully. This is my first year actually growing homemade lettuce to be able to feed our family, which has been great. Even though it's covered in weeds, it's still growing, which is great. Also very, very proud of myself with the onions and with the celery. Let's go take a look at the inside of the greenhouse. Okay, so on the front of the greenhouse is a rhubarb plant. And then Benjamin's Memorial looks a little bit different this year. We have some, I think those are black-eyed Susans that are getting ready to bloom. There also should be some daisies in here. This greenhouse is a little bit cleaner than last time I showed it to you, but not by not much here. We have some leftover square bales of grass hay. We've partially disassembled the birthing stalls for the goats. Lots of weeds in here, you guys. Not going to lie. Lots and lots of weeds. We have, once again, a crazy bed full of mint. One project we did complete, or at least for right now, is that raised bed. That's going to be a compost bed that we're going to grow in hopefully this winter. We have some dill coming up. Otherwise, these beds are empty because it's literally over 100 degrees in here most days. We have a gigantic weed that I believe is burdock. So I might be digging this up for medicinal purposes. We'll see. And we have chicks in here. This is our second batch of freezer birds, we'll call them. They are almost a week old and are as cute as can be. And I'll tell you what, having them into the greenhouse is actually perfect. Today it's cloudy and it's just right in here. We have the lamps on just in case they get a little bit of a chill, but for the most part, they're doing just fine with the temperatures in here. Although one day it was almost 90 outside and it got a bit too hot in here. So we have been putting up a fan and a sheet to provide shade and a breeze. But they are doing rather well. So if you want to know more information about this bed, you can go over to Dirt Patch Heaven here on YouTube. That's where I got the idea from. But basically this bed is full of cardboard and animal waste and bedding. And we're going to start getting it wet to start making it break down. Which then will create heat, and then we'll top it with some growing medium of compost or dirt. And we'll grow into that, and then through the winter, it will be heated by the compost that is beneath it. And then we'll also have hoops and some plastic so we can double layer the plastic along with the greenhouse plastic. And you're supposed to be able to grow down to negative 17 degrees, so I'm super excited to try it. Alright, well that was a tour of my garden and my greenhouse. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also down in the description box, in case you guys have forgotten or you're new here, There are meal plans, sourdough starter, kefir grains for $5, my cookbook available down below, and lots of links that can save you money on things you already want to buy. So check it out. There's lots of discount codes down below. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.